Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will begin with the Defence Service Asia Exhibition 2014, where I am very grateful on behalf of the organisers on the very positive feedback from the exhibitors regarding the last couple of days. I have just accompanied His Royal Highness the King just a few minutes ago, and he himself commented that this year's DSA seems to have a response that is quite overwhelming, and it fares well for the future of DSA. Next, there's the MH370 incident. I will be distributing a written press release on this, but I can confirm that I've been on the line and we've been speaking with GACC in Australia and with Angus Houston. And operations are, like as we all know, the Bluefin 21 AUVs have been deployed, and 16 hours have been done to search and photograph the seabed, and photographs are being analyzed at the moment. The same applies to the oil slick found and collected yesterday 5.5 kilometers away from the site. This has also been collected and being tested. So as you know, the operations with the JACC and our link up with, or my personal link up with Angus Houston has been ongoing, notwithstanding DSA here in BWTC. On Malaysia's part, I can confirm that the international investigation team is being set up. We will probably be able to table the memorandum to the cabinet the next time the cabinet meets, probably next week. The three ministerial committees have been meeting, led by the three deputy ministers. Hamzah Zainuddin, the Deputy Foreign Minister, who has been tasked to look at the various issues relating to the next of kin. Aziz Kaprawi, the Deputy Transport Minister, who has been tasked to look at the terms of reference of the international investigation team, which will be made known to the public in due course, and also technical aspects of our SAR. And the third ministerial committee, led by Datuk Abdul Rahim Bakri, who is the Deputy Defence Minister, who is monitoring the deployment of assets in the search area, which has now been narrowed and has now moved into underwater search as announced by GACC a couple of days ago.
Itu tadi kenyataan Menteri Pertahanan Datuk Seri Hishammuddin Hussein yang juga Pemangku Menteri Pengangkutan mengenai perkembangan terkini usaha mencari dan menjejak MH370. Dan seterusnya kita ikuti pula sesi soal jawab.
Okay, we start with the local media first. On the side, the first one, please, the mic. Hold on.
Assalamualaikum sir, I'm Hana from Astro Awani. Would like to know when can we know the results from the data received or retrieved by the Bluefin 21? And secondly, should there be no findings from Bluefin 21? Are we going to deploy any equipment such as Deep Sea Challenger to search for the wreckage? Sorry.
On the first question, I think we'll have to wait for further information from JACC. As I've indicated, the number of hours the Bluefin 21 was searching and photographing the seabed, I know for a fact that they are analyzing those photographs, and I believe when it's been corroborated and they feel comfortable, they will release it to the media. As regards further deployment of different assets, that is in the technical committee. And I've instructed Aziz Kaprawi, the Deputy Minister in charge of that particular committee, to start discussing and looking into what the technical requirements that are needed, and to work closely with the deployment committee, which is Datuk Rahim Bakri, as regards to possible more assets that possibly could be deployed for this next phase of the search.
Yes, please.
Datuk Seri Firdaus Aziz daripada Bernama. Saya ada dua soalan, satu berkaitan DSA, satu berkaitan MH370. Mengenai DSA, sudahkah kerajaan Malaysia membuat keputusan untuk menggantikan MH370? Dan lagi satu berkaitan MH370, ada laporan daripada portal antarabangsa yang memetik US official mengatakan memang confirm co-pilot ada buat phone call dan dia pick up senior selama 30 minit.
Yang pertama itu dari segi DSA kita belum membuat apa jua keputusan berhubung kait dengan penggantian kalau sekiranya nak disebut sebegitu caranya untuk MIG kita. Yang penting sekarang penekanan kita dalam industri pertahanan dua aspek. Pertamanya untuk memperkukuhkan industri kita di negara dan kita boleh leverage dengan negara-negara ASEAN di mana tumpuan sebegini hebat terhadap DSA membuktikan bahawa rantau ini masih merupakan satu rantau yang satu lokasi dan negara-negara yang cukup strategik dan kita boleh ambil kesempatan untuk memastikan bahawa semua dapat manfaat win-win, menang-menang dalam keadaan sebegini rupa. Berhubung kait dengan maklumat co-pilot dan sebagainya, saya dah jawab perkara ini dahulu bahawa ini dalam siasatan polis dan saya tak mahu lagi nak buat spekulasi berhubung kait dengan perkara-perkara yang tidak ada verifikasi dan tidak ada pengesahan. Ini saya dah nyatakan tadi bersandarkan kepada nak memastikan keluarga mereka yang di bawah siasatan ini tidak tersinggung atau emosi mereka dan juga kedudukan mereka dapat pembelaan. Tetapi pada masa yang sama untuk pihak polis dan agensi-agensi risikan antarabangsa, janganlah maklumat-maklumat sebegini rupa boleh menjejaskan siasatan mereka.
Local media, anybody on that side? This side? Yes, please, sir.
Selamat tengah hari, Datuk Seri. Kadir from RTM, yeah?
Hi, Kadir.
Okay, I got one question for Datuk Seri regarding any equipments or technology that can be required by our governments for replacing our old technology, which is we can say that already been known by the world when we disclose our radar informations to the in regards to the MH370.
What is interesting from the DSA, and if we want to link it up with our experience on MH370, security and defense in the context of just radar is still not sufficient. Information and data that comes from satellite, information and data that comes from asset deployment, whether from planes, from vessels, and they are all out here for everybody to see. So the whole landscape, not only in Malaysia, in respect of security and defense, is going through a new phase. And parallel to the DSA, we have the Putrajaya Forum, in which I have to deliver a speech in half an hour. Will touch exactly on that, the strength of the region, and also the possible challenges, traditional and non-traditional, when it involves security and defense. Linking up again to MH370, the combination of civil aviation and military between radar, satellite, asset deployment, and with the biggest SAR the world has ever seen, using the most sophisticated equipment, having the illusion from the Chinese parked side by side with the P3 Orions and the P8 Poseidons, and having the Echo and the nuclear submarine HMS Stylus all involved in this SAR, it gives us a great opportunity to see, not only for Malaysia's needs, but for the region, regional in the context of ASEAN, and the world in the context of what is available out there. And that is, I think, the challenge that we all face when gathering here in Kuala Lumpur for the DSA 2014.
Okay, local, any more? Local media? All right, we open to the foreign media. Sir, yours. One moment, please, sir, the mic.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
On this issue of transparency,
I'm
sorry, Joe Johns with CNN. On this issue of transparency, which is in the newspapers with the polls and all,
right.
You have been quoted as saying you shared sensitive military information, intelligence information with international partners. When did you share that sensitive information with the aviation authorities? And a related question, you're the acting transport minister, as we know, also the defense minister. Could you say right now to Malaysia and the world that you shared all of the information the military had with civil aviation authorities in the first few chaotic hours of this crisis?
I think you're looking so far back, Joe, at a time when we're already looking and narrowed it down to a very specific phase of our SAR search. And this is very unfortunate, where we are still speculating on matters which is not looking forward. Angus Houston has been very transparent in what he is doing. At the same time, we have not got any answers as yet. What I want to do with the formation of the ministerial committees and also the international investigation panel that is going to be tabled to the Malaysian cabinet in the next few days will address all these issues. But what is important right now is for everybody to actually look forward. And we are moving to a next phase of this search. And it is unprecedented. And if you want to put and apportion blame to Malaysia, how do you do that when facing something that has never been faced by the world before? What are you going to benchmark it against? Who are you going to discuss it with? And the only way we can come out with that is when the investigation teams, the panels, the inquiries, the committees have been set up, and most importantly is when we have more information, and more information will be forthcoming if, God willing, we find the airplane and the black box.
Yes, please, sir.
Hello, sir. Jason here from the Wall Street Journal. Can you clarify what you said earlier about sending the Attorney General to London to discuss the ownership of the black box? Under ICAO rules, it's pretty clear that it's it should belong to Malaysia. So why the need to send the Attorney General all the way there? And is there a question? Is there a legal complication about the ownership of the black box? Or
I think one, I'm not in a new position to send the Attorney General anyway. He is our Attorney General and is independent in what he wants to do. And basically, the issue related to the Attorney General when he was in London, the question posed at that particular time was in relation to the black box. And I said, I'm sure that will be something that he will be discussing with some of his counterparts in London. But more importantly, as far as the Attorney General is concerned, the Malaysian Cabinet has actually directed and requested that he looks at all the legal implications, whether it is an ICAO practice, whether it is a challenge which involves diplomacy, because you must understand that it involves 14 nations. And when it comes to the search and rescue, at the beginning it involves 26 nations. So we have diplomatic challenges, we got legal challenges, we got next of kin, and that is why we have established these committees so that these responsibilities can be divided amongst those people who have the opportunity to get the best expert advice. And the Attorney General is no different, and there is no exception when it comes to his responsibility in looking at the legal aspect of MH370.
Yes, please.
Julia from AFP.
Hi, Julia.
Datuk, just to follow up on the question of the black box and who has custody, how important is it for Malaysia to have custody of the black box? Is that something Malaysia wants to secure? And if so, will you reveal the full contents of what is found in the black box?
I don't think it's important who gets custody as far as I'm concerned, and this is my own personal position. It's finding out the truth. And when you have to find out the truth, definitely we have to reveal what's in the black box. So there's no question of it not being released.
Foreign, anybody else, please? Yes, please.
Thanks.
Could you?
Yeah.
Sunima from CNN. Was there a disconnect between the investigating agencies early on?
Sorry?
Was there a disconnect between the various investigating agencies early on? I know it's important to look forward, but was there a disconnect?
I don't know how to answer that question because I'm not sure what CNN is asking. Disconnect in relation to what issue? Disconnect in relation
communication
to which agency?
Communication between the various agencies.
Speculation. But like I said, that's not something that we should be discussing right now. And because the question is so wide, I really don't know how to answer CNN.
Yes, please. Here. Mic in front here, please. Please, could you?
Hi, Datuk Sri Sumisha from Channel News Asia. I just wanted to ask you, put to you something that was brought up to me by the families. Apparently, there have been, they say, American lawyers showing up at homes uninvited, and they're quite worried that people are going to impersonate lawyers in the future and take advantage of them. How is this information leaking to lawyers, and what are you doing about it? Thank you.
Yeah, I know, and these reports are coming back to me, and it is worrying. But like I said, it is important we use the structure that has been established. The committee that has been set up and led by Hamzah Zainuddin, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, has got links directly with the governments and authorities of the countries in which the nationals and families of the passengers belong. And I believe that that channel is being used as far as the Chinese families are concerned. Any new information regarding issues of people turning up and approaching the families, I would advise the families to inform us as soon as possible, because we can be dealt with not only by the Malaysian authorities, but even the authorities at the country of origin. Yeah, if it's in KL, then we will deal with it. But if it's in Beijing, we have enough channels with the Chinese government and the authorities, and that's already been linked up through the committee led by Hamzah Zainuddin to deal with it. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you. Let's conclude the session for today.
No.